Brilliance Audio.
Promise Me by Harlan Coben. Performed by Stephen Weber. The missing girl. There had been unceasing news reports always flashing to that achingly ordinary school portrait of the vanished teen. You know the one, with the rainbow swirl background, the girl's hair too straight, her smile too self-conscious. Then a quick cut to the worried parents on the front lawn, microphones surrounding them, Mom silently tearful, Dad reading a statement with quivering lip. That girl, that missing girl, had just walked past Edna Schuyler. Edna froze. Stanley, her husband, took 2 more steps before realizing that his wife was no longer at his side. He turned around. "Edna?" They stood near the corner of 21st Street and 8th Avenue in New York City. "Hurry," Edna said to Stanley. "What? Where are we going?" There was no time to reply. She rushed ahead. The sidewalks were crowded. She moved into the street, staying close to the curb, and sped up. Stanley tried to follow. "Edna, just stay with me." He caught up. "What are we doing?" Edna's eyes searched for the red hair. There, up ahead on the left. She needed to get a closer look. Edna broke into a full-fledged sprint now, a strange sight in most places, a nicely dressed woman in her mid-60s sprinting down the street, but this was Manhattan. It barely warranted a second glance. She circled in front of the woman, trying not to be too obvious, ducking behind taller people, and when she was in the right place, Edna spun around. The possible Katie was walking toward her. Their eyes met for the briefest of moments, and Edna knew. It was her. Katie Rochester was with a dark-haired man, probably in his early 30s. They were holding hands. She did not seem too distressed. She seemed, in fact, up until the point where their eyes met anyway, pretty content. Of course, that might not mean anything. Elizabeth Smart, that young girl who'd been kidnapped out in Utah, had been out in the open with her kidnapper and never tried to signal for help. Maybe something similar was playing out here. Edna wasn't buying it. The red-headed, possible Katie whispered something to the dark-haired man. They picked up their pace. Edna saw them veer right and down the subway stairs. The sign read C and E trains. Stanley caught up to Edna. He was about to say something, but he saw the look on her face and kept still. "Come on," she said. They hurried around the front and started down the stairs. The missing woman and the dark-haired man were already through the turnstile. Edna started toward it. "Damn it." "What?" "I don't have a Metro card." "I do," Stanley said. "Let me have it. Hurry." Stanley plucked the card from his wallet and handed it to her. She scanned it, moved through the turnstile, handed it back to him. She didn't wait. They'd gone down the stairs to the right. She started that way. She heard the roar of an incoming train and hurried her steps. The brakes were squeaking to a halt. The subway doors slid open. Edna's heart beat wildly in her chest. She looked left and right, searching for the red hair. Nothing. Where was that girl? "Edna!" It was Stanley. He had caught up to her. Edna said nothing. She stood on the platform, but there was no sign of Katie Rochester, and even if there was, what then? What should Edna do here? Does she hop on the train and follow them? To where? And then what? Find the apartment or house and then call the police? Someone tapped her shoulder. Edna turned. It was the missing girl. For a long time after this, Edna would wonder what she saw in the girl's expression. Was there a pleading look, a desperation, a calmness, joy even, resolution? All of them. They just stood and stared at each other for a moment. The bustling crowd, the indecipherable static on the speaker, the swoosh of the train, it all disappeared, leaving just the two of them. "Please," the missing girl said, her voice a whisper. "You can't tell anybody you saw me." The girl stepped onto the train then. Edna felt a chill. The doors slid closed. Edna wanted to do something, do anything, but she couldn't move. Her gaze remained locked on the girl's. "Please," the girl mouthed through the glass. And then the train disappeared into the dark.